So you've been an educator through the rise of the smartphone, and my question basically relates to procrastination and task delay, needless task delay specifically. And given the unprecedented level of distraction that we have in today's world, I just wanted to get your perspective from a psychological standpoint on, other than cleaning your damn room, what would you suggest to a student who's looking to overcome these things?
Well, I think with any, let's call it addictive process, I mean, email is powerfully addictive, right? Partly, it's a slot machine, and I mean that technically. So when you pull, that's a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, if I remember correctly, and it's very addictive because if you pull on the slot machine arm enough, you will win. And you never know which pull will reward you. And so not only is that addictive, it's very hard to extinguish that. And so emails like that, because there's always something beckoning, and now and then it's a jackpot. And social media is like that because people are posting interesting things. And so, well, how do you overcome an addictive process? And partly you do it by replacing it with something better, right? So when people study drug and alcohol use, they often make an elementary mistake, which is to try to figure out why people use drugs and alcohol. That's not a smart thing to wonder. We know why people use cocaine. Cocaine directly stimulates the systems that produce positive emotion. So there's no mystery there. The mystery with cocaine is very, very simple. Why don't people take cocaine all the time until they die? That's the mystery, really, because you can get isolated rats to do that. So, and for some people, alcohol has the same kind of effect, except it's mediated by opiates. But often what people have to do to get themselves out of an addictive process is to find something better to do to replace it. And so I would say the problem with the gadgets, and I mean, they're amazing things, is that they proximately interfere with medium to long-term goals, I would say. And so I think the first thing you have to do to bring them under control is figure out what it is that their use is interfering with. It has to be something important. So you think, well, I want to do something important. Well, what is that? Oh, it could be personal. Maybe you want to have a relationship. You want to get married. You want to have kids. You want to have a career that's meaningful. You want to have a life. You want to have an Abrahamic adventure and be the father of nations, let's say. Well, you can't be ratting away on your cell phone and doing that. And so I think part of it is to set your sights high and make a plan and figure out who you could be and see if obsessive utilization of smartphone fits into that vision of nobility. And it will partly, because they're unbelievably powerful communication devices, but so often it's for lack of something better to do. And it also interferes. So that's about the best I can do with that.
What scares you?
Everything. Not being in control, not knowing, anticipation, like waiting for something to go wrong. I'm an addict and alcoholic, so I have my ups and downs. Sort of, my head is a bit wonky.
And sometimes I think even if you don't know quite what it is that you want to achieve, that if you just keep cracking on towards it anyway, that if you do what you love doing, this is what my dad said to me. He said, if you do what you love doing and you do it well, then everything should sort of fall into place. And the great thing about the arts is that it's something that will always keep me company, even in my quiet time when I'm on my own. So if you're going to do anything in the arts, first and foremost, it's one of your closest friends and it'll keep you a companion. So I think that's massively important for me. It's kept me, when I've been unemployed, that's what I've sort of gone back to, is that would I do this? Is it a vocation or is it a job? And I think it's more of a vocation, to be fair. Another thing that my dad said was, your job, Tom, is to observe and reflect, right? And anything that gets in the way of the telescope has to go, including yourself. I think that's what he was getting at, was also about being more erudite towards the workplace, because as we focus more in the workplace, there's not as much time to naff about, because obviously there's time and money involved as well. And especially if you're coming up with something from nothing, which is presumably what we all do in the creative department, is that I'm selling a handful of nothing and hoping to come through with some results. And I'll put myself right out there for the risk of it, and I will fail. and it's okay to fail. In fact, you learn more from failing and humiliation in my game than any other that I know. And actually, that seems to be quite similar across the board in most professions from the people that I've met. So it's good to fail, it's not embarrassing, and humiliation is your friend.
Everest is obvious to climb because it's there, it's a mountain. Personal Everests, you can't see them, and that journey to the top of the mountain and back down again is fraught with hazards, and no one can see it but you. So never give up on a dream. Everything that's brought me to where I am today is supposed to happen, innit? I'm really grateful to be here, mate. I want to help other people, and I'm really grateful for the things that have happened in my life that could have gone the wrong way.
I think as human beings, by nature, as a species, we're all flawed. We have to constantly ask ourselves the uncomfortable questions. I mean, is the world better for me having been in it? And if the last few years have taught me anything, is that rather than change the world to better suit our needs, how can we change ourselves to better suit the world that we all live in? Thoughtfully examine the roles we play and how to best be of use and to be of service in a noble pursuit to make the world a better place. I believe that perfection is unattainable, but that doesn't stop us trying. And we should constantly be evolving, redefining, refining, predicting, analyzing, adapting to whatever the world throws at us, and in harmony with that world. And if one is passionate and committed in the noble pursuit of excellence within their chosen field, be that the arts, technology, science, humanitarianism, conservationism, then I would say one has a moral obligation and an ethical duty to be of service and to always strive to be part of the solution and not the problem. After all, it's a world that our children would inherit. That's worth being a part of. That speaks to me. Passion, action, noble intention creates progress. Passion creates progress.